Every day we use sexist language and we are not even aware that we are doing it. My speech today is on Sexism in English, Embodiment and Language by Aline Pace Nielsen. My name is Jenny Wolfe. I'm a wife and mother. I'm a huge history buff and a bit of a feminist, and that is why I chose this essay. In her essay, Ms. Nielsen describes how she played a part in the feminist movement by researching the sexist history of the English language. After living for several years in Afghanistan with her husband, she was shocked to see the sexism in specific roles that women there were forced to use. When she returned to the U.S., she decided to use her degree in English to investigate the sexism in the English language. She says that language is evidence for what a culture believes. Ms. Nielsen describes 3 points she found in her research. The first one is, women are sexy, men are successful. Women are valued by their looks, while men are valued for their strength and success. She looked into eponyms, words that come from names. Many are based on men, the Franklin stove, the Winchester rifle. But few are based on women, and when they are, it's usually about their body parts or the sexiness. For instance, bloomers or the Mae West jacket. When landscapes are named for women, it's their bodies that they are named for. There are actually mountain ranges named the Teats, Nippletop Mountain, and Nipple Mountain. When mountains are named for men, it's usually for accomplishments, not their body parts. For instance, Mount McKinley. She does say that changing ideas is beginning to change the language. Single, for instance, has replaced old maid or bachelor. We even see evidence of these things in weddings. It is now husband and wife instead of man and wife. Women rarely ever say love, honor, and obey. That has become love, honor, and cherish. The second point Ms. Nielsen found is that women are passive, men are active. Women are expected to play a passive and weak role, while men are expected to play an active and strong role. This also can be seen at weddings. Historically, women were property, so they were handed over to their husband by their father. We also see it in the language that we use in weddings. Men wed women, but women become brides. Children's names also give us clues into cultural expectations. Girls have small and appealing names like Ruby, Pearl, Jewel, where men have powerful names like Martin, which means God of War, Neil, that means champion, and Richard, strong king. We also see food and animal metaphors. We often hear girls referred to as sweetie pie or a peach. We also hear them being called wallflowers or shrinking violets. But if a man is referred to as a fruit or a pansy, it is an insult. The final point Ms. Nielsen found was that women are connected with negative connotations, while men are connected with positive connotation. When a positive connotation is associated with a masculine word, the female version is often trivial or negative. For instance, the word shrew, which is a small animal. We also know that can be used as an insult for women. The dictionary defines that as an ill-tempered, scolding woman. If we do that in comparison with the word shrewd, which is also often a compliment, that comes from the same root word, but it is defined as marked by clever, discerning awareness. So when we hear shrewd businessman, we think that that's a positive thing. Children are also conditioned that the male role is superior. Girls can experiment with gender roles a lot more than boys can. Being a tomboy for a girl is okay, but a boy can't be a sissy, or the parents tend to panic. Same thing happens with names. Girls can have boys' names. We hear Chris, Terry, Tony, Joe. But when that name becomes too popular as a girl's name, we often see it disappear from use with boys. We see that with Morgan, Kelly, for instance. The other thing that she found was that men are giving fancy titles when doing traditional women's jobs. For instance, chef has replaced cook, and tailor has replaced seamstress. We also see this in common phrases like grandfatherly advice. We think of that as a man worth listening to. But if we hear old wise tale, we think that that's a foolish old woman who come up with crazy ideas. I think the author's purpose in writing this was to educate us on the historical meanings of our own language. I think she wanted to bring attention to it and make us aware of the sexist words that we use every day, because we are completely unaware. I know I was. In the essay, Miss Nielsen uses a lot of symbolism when giving examples of the sexist language, so I thought that was an interesting use of language. Miss Nielsen is also a self-proclaimed feminist, so her worldview comes from her experiences living in Afghanistan, and those things prompted her to investigate the English language and find out its history. I really enjoyed this essay, but the one thing that I would change is to go into detail a little bit about how these expectations are also very hard on boys. As girls are supposed to be passive, boys are always supposed to be strong, and I think that's hard on both genders. In her closing, Miss Nielsen says that despite all our sexist language, she is pleased that over that last 30 years she has seen a lot of change. She thinks that new language trends will give future generation of women different expectations and not subconsciously limit us. Thank you very much.